Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on this special thrift edition of Living Local Carolina. Today, I get to talk about my favorite hobby in this entire world. Thrifting is one of those things that is truly near and dear to my heart. I feel like I can talk about it for a long time, so that's why we're doing a whole show on it today. And right behind me is one of my favorite locations of Goodwill. I come here to the Market Common Goodwill on my lunch break. I know the staff here. I've been thrifting since I was old enough to drive a car. So I have some experience and I want to be able to share some of my thrifting tips and tricks for you guys, tell you what you can and maybe shouldn't buy at the thrift store, how to care for your items once you get them, how to arrange them in your home, putting together outfits. There's just so much that buying stuff secondhand has to offer. And so I want to go over some of those things with you guys right now. All right, so let's talk about some of the reasons why I love thrifting so much. Obviously, the reason why I started thrifting when I was 16 years old was to save some money. And now I thrift all the time because I like to put together looks that I wear on TV. And I'm always having to wear a new outfit. So this is a great way for me to do that. Every outfit you see right here, I've thrifted. You'd be shocked at how many name brand clothing items I find when I'm thrifting, like J. Crew, Lululemon, Ralph Lauren, Anthropologie, Lilly Pulitzer, Gap, the list goes on. So when I go thrifting, my biggest goal when it comes to buying clothing is looking for something that is in great condition and look at the tag to see what kind of material it's made from. I know that a lot of stuff we see these days is made of polyester. I'm not a huge fan of polyester. I don't think it holds up very well over time, but that's why thrifting is so great because you can buy stuff that was made in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s that's still kicking today, that still looks gorgeous and is made of like 100% cotton, leather, wool. I've even bought cashmere sweaters at Goodwill. So that's another great tip for you guys is to look at the tags because that's the biggest thing when it comes to quality, in my opinion. And another thing when buying clothing, keep in mind that sometimes an item gets donated because it shrank a bit in the wash. So while you should definitely start looking at racks in your typical size, you never know what you might find in other parts of the store. I know a lot of the times when people think about thrift shopping, they think, oh, it's going to smell in there, or I don't know if I'm going to find something in my size, or I don't know how to clean it whenever I get home, and it's just too much. People tell me that all the time. They're like, it's too overwhelming for me. And what I say to that is, you just have to persevere, because for me, it's all about the thrill of the hunt and getting a great bargain. So look at this. This is just a ton of cabinet poles for 20 bucks. You could do your entire kitchen with that. $2.99, not too bad. Home goods, that's a big thing. And whenever I moved here to Myrtle Beach, I was able to find a ton of home decor for my house. And I am going to be taking you to my house to show you just what I've done with all thrifted stuff. So stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about some things that you maybe shouldn't buy at the thrift store. A lot of these might come as an obvious answer to you, like underwear, things like that. But also, I like to tell people to be cautious and wary whenever they're buying shoes, because a lot of times when somebody donates a pair of shoes, it's not just because it's not in their size or didn't fit them very well, it's because they were uncomfortable. And it's kind of tough to know that until you try on a pair of shoes and wear them around. And I know a lot of people are a little bit squeamish about wearing a pair of shoes that might give you a fungus. So we might go over that later of how you can clean those to make sure that doesn't happen if you do buy shoes at Goodwill, which I have done before proudly. I'm not even kidding. These were my prom shoes my freshman year of high school. One thing you should definitely be wary whenever you're buying at Goodwill are electronics. That's the kind of thing where I'm glad they have power strips oftentimes available where you can plug something in and check to see if it works or not. Okay, here's a really good example. So a cautionary tale. If you're gonna buy a Christmas tree at Goodwill, you should just assume that the lights do not work on it. Because a few years ago, I was so excited I got this 7-foot tree out and I thought, what a great deal. I took it home. None of the lights worked and I had to pull them all off myself. I had to like cut them off. It was just not fun. So double check and plug it in first, or just assume it doesn't work. All right, guys, I hope you've been enjoying the tips so far. Right after the break, now that you've purchased your items at Goodwill, I'm going to be talking about what you do with them, how you style them, how to put them in your home, and most importantly, how to clean them. Stick with us.